Hi, You Can Heal family. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. This is Shena, and I'm glad that you joined me today. I've just been texting someone, and I'm really tickled right now. So I hope I can get focused here. I've had quite the day. Um, as most of you know, my daughter's father's in town, so it's been quite the day. It's been full and busy, but I think I've got everything I need for tomorrow. Just some last minute things to do before the party. So going forward, we're going to read the introduction today. And then I'm thinking Saturday night or Sunday night. I think Saturday night we're going to have a tuck-in time and read the book of Ruth. So I think that's my plan. Don't hold me to it. I'll post in the community page. Probably around 7 or so tomorrow evening, or for you this evening. So keep a lookout for that if you're interested in hanging out with me for a little bit. But anywho, enough of that. Let's get reading. Again, it's the introduction to the book of Ruth. And who doesn't love the book of Ruth, right? It's so good. And if you haven't ever read it or heard it, you're going to be in for a treat. It's really good. Really good. Especially for those of you looking for true love, right? The book of Ruth. Ruth is a cameo story of love, devotion, and redemption set in the grim context of the days of Judges. It is a story of a Moabite woman who forsakes her pagan heritage in order to cling to the people of Israel and to the God of Israel. Because of her faithfulness in a time of national faithlessness, God rewards her by giving her a new husband, Boaz, a son of Obed, and a privileged position in the lineage of David and Christ. She is the great-grandmother of David. Ruth is the Hebrew title of this book. This name may be a Moabite modification of the Hebrew word Ruth, meaning friendship or association. Oh, I didn't know that. The Septuagint entitles the book Ruth, the Greek equivalent of the Hebrew name. The Latin title is Ruth, a translation of Ruth, R-O-U-T-H. Okay? It says the author of Ruth. The author of Ruth is not given anywhere in the book, nor is he known from any other biblical passage. Talmudic tradition attributes it to Samuel, but this is unlikely since David appears in Ruth 4:17-22, and Samuel died before David's coronation. Ruth was probably written during David's reign since Solomon's name is not included in the genealogy. The anonymity of the book, however, should not distract from its spiritual value of literary beauty. I love that, literary beauty. It says the time of Ruth. Ruth divides neatly into 4 distinct settings: the country of Moab, a field in Bethlehem, a threshing floor in Bethlehem, and the city of Bethlehem. The setting of the first 18 verses is Moab, a region northeast of the Dead Sea. The Moabite descendants of Lot worship Chemosh and other pagan gods. Scripture records 2 times when they fight against Israel. Ruth takes place about 2 centuries after the first war and about 80 years before the second. Ruth chapter 1 verse 1 gives the setting of the remainder of the book. In the days when the judges ruled, this is the time of apostasy, warfare, decline, violence, moral decay, and anarchy. Ruth provides a cameo of the other side of the story, the godly remnant who remain true to the laws of God. Because Ruth is written more to tell a beautiful story than to give all the historical facts of that period, the assignment of time is somewhat difficult, utilizing the same foretold division noted above. The following can be assigned. Ruth chapter 1 verses 1 through 18 is the country of Moab. Ruth 1:19 through 2:23 are the field of Bethlehem. Ruth 3:1 through 18 are the threshing floor in Bethlehem. And Ruth 4:1 through 22, the city of Bethlehem. The Christ of Ruth. It says here, the concept of the kinsman redeemer, or Goal, chapter 3 verse 9, family redeemer, is an important portrayal of the work of Christ. The Goal must be related by blood to those he redeems. And then there's a bunch of scriptures: Deuteronomy 25:5, John 1:14, Romans 1:3, Philippians 2:5 through 8, Hebrews 2:14 through 5. Number 2, be able to pay the price of redemption, 2:1, 1 Peter 1 through 18 and 19. Number 3, be willing to redeem, 3:1 in Matthew 20:28, John 10:15, 18 and Hebrew 10:7. And 4, be free himself. Christ was free from the curse of sin. The word Goal, used 13 times in this short book, presents a clear picture of the mediating work of Christ. And Goal is, again, the kinsman redeemer. So those were a lot of really good scriptures. Be able to pay the price of redemption. Let's go ahead here. It says keys to Ruth. The key word in this section is the key word, the key verse, and the key chapter. It says the key word is family redeemer. The Hebrew word of kinsman is Goal, appears 13 times in Ruth, and basically means one who redeems by paying back the land of Naomi, as well as marrying Ruth and fathering a son to keep the family line alive. Boaz acts as a redeemer, because remember, God redeemed us by his blood, his shed blood, right? He's our redeemer. The key verse is Ruth 1:16 and verse 3:11, and they say, but Ruth replied, don't ask me to leave you and turn back. I will go wherever you go and live wherever you live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. It's such dedication. Now don't worry about a thing, my daughter. I will do what is necessary, for everyone in town knows you are an honorable woman. And that was chapter 3, verse 11. I like that. Are you an honorable woman? Am I? It's such a good question. Am I acting honorably today? You know? All right, and then the next part of this section is the key chapter, which is chapter 4. In 22 short verses, Ruth moves from widowhood and poverty to marriage and wealth. Wow. Now see how quick God can move in 2 short verses, right? So, you know, if you're waiting on your finances to improve or waiting for a husband or a relationship, God can move very quickly. And exercising the law regulating the redemption of property and the law concerning a brother's duty to raise up seed in the name of the deceased, Boaz brings a Moabite woman into the family line of David and eventually of Jesus Christ. For those of you who don't have children, maybe Ruth is a name you want to consider. What an awesome woman. You know, and I'm sure I'll talk about this when we read tomorrow night or whatever, but just thinking about how faithful Ruth was to Naomi. You know, who was her sister? Was it Orpah? I think that was her name. She left. She took off, but Ruth did not. Ruth stayed faithful. All right, so the next section is the survey of Ruth. Ruth is the story of an honorable woman. Now see, honorable. You need to be honorable. She was an honorable woman who lives above the norm of her day. Although it was probably written during the time of David, the events take place during the time of Judges. This period in Israel's history was generally a desert of rebellion and immorality, but the story of Ruth stands in contrast as an oasis of integrity and righteousness. So think about it like this: if things in your life are happening and everything around you seems to be going a little wacky, like God will always have that oasis, that place of refuge where you can go and find the rest you need, and that's in Him and His Word and prayer, and quiet time and meditation. You can have that oasis of integrity and righteousness. It says Ruth is an honorable woman, chapter 3, verse 11, who shows loyal love to her mother-in-law Naomi and her near kinsman Boaz. In both relationships, goodness and love are clearly manifested. Her love is demonstrated in chapters 1 and 2 and rewarded in chapters 3 and 4. Well, let me tell you, being an honorable woman, I love this. And this is such a good reminder because in both relationships, there was goodness and love clearly manifested. And I've been, dealing with my mom and my ex-husband this weekend. I'm just going to operate in goodness and love and be an honorable woman and know that I have come so far in my healing and nobody's going to steal my peace, okay? That is just the truth. That is just the truth. Praise the Lord. Can I get an amen from my You Can Heal family? Put amen in the comments and I'll know that you hear me. Your spirit hears me. All right, let's keep going. Ruth's love is demonstrated. The story begins with a famine in Israel, a sign of disobedience and apostasy. An Israelite named Elimelech, my God is king, in a desperate act, moves from Bethlehem, house of bread, note the irony, to Moab. Although he seeks life in that land, he and his two sons, Mahlon, means sick, and Kilion, Pening, find only death. The diseased sons leave two Moabite widows. Orpah means stubbornness. Oh my goodness, don't name your kid that. And Ruth, meaning friendship. Elimelech's widow, Naomi, hears that the famine in Israel is over and decides to return, no longer as Naomi, meaning pleasant, but as Mara, meaning bitter. She tells her daughter-in-laws to remain in Moab and remarry, since there was no security for an unmarried woman in those days. Orpah chooses to leave Naomi and is never mentioned again. Ruth, on the other hand, resolves to cling to Naomi and follow Yahweh, the God of Israel. She therefore gives up her culture, people, and language because of her love. Naomi's misfortune leads her to think that God is her enemy, but He has plans she does not yet realize. In her plight, she must let Ruth glean at the edge of a field. This is a humiliating and dangerous task because of the character of many of the reapers. However, God's providential care brings her to the field of Boaz, Naomi's kinsman. Boaz, in him is strength, begins to love, protect, and provide for her. Now listen, ladies, aren't those the characteristics, aren't those the things you want in a man? To love you, to protect you, and to provide for you? That is so good. That's so good. Ruth's love is rewarded in chapters 3 and 4. Boaz takes no further steps towards marriage, so Naomi follows the accepted customs of the day and requests that Boaz exercise his right as a kinsman redeemer. In chapters 3:10 through 13, Boaz reveals why he has taken no action. He is older than Ruth, perhaps 20 years her senior, and he is not the nearest kinsman. Nevertheless, God rewards Ruth's devotion by giving her Boaz as a husband and by providing her with the son Obed, the grandfather of David. so that I just found that the introduction was really good. They've got an outline here of the chapter. It says 1, Ruth's decision to remain with Naomi, in chapters 1 through 18. Ruth needs to remain with Naomi, Ruth's opportunity to leave Naomi, and Ruth's choice to remain. And then the second, number 2, is Ruth's devotion to the care of Naomi. Ruth and Naomi return to Bethlehem. Ruth gleans for food. Boaz meets Ruth. Boaz protects Ruth, and Boaz provides for Ruth. I love that. Protecting and providing. And then on part 2 of this book is Ruth's request for redemption by Boaz. Naomi seeks redemption for Ruth. Ruth obeys Naomi, and Boaz desires to redeem Ruth. And then the second one is part of the last section is Ruth's reward of redemption by Boaz. Boaz marries Ruth. Ruth bears a son, Obed. Naomi receives a new family, and then the family line of David. So I think we're in for a real treat with this book. It's going to be so refreshing and, just remind us of what it is we're actually looking for. And that was love. What was that? Love, protection, and being provided for. And Ms. Kinsman Redeemer. Those were some good traits. So that's all I got for you today. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back, Lord willing. For you guys, it's going to be later tonight. For me, it's tomorrow night. So again, just be blessed, be full of love. And what was that? Let me see if I can find it. What did it say? I didn't highlight it as I was reading. I think it was love and goodness. Is that what it was? Be full of love and goodness. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. A lot of love and a lot of goodness. And I'll talk to you soon. Always remember that true healing begins with self-love. Why? Because God is love, and He lives on the inside of you. We'll talk soon. Bye.